Hello everyone. Today we are with the royals. Some of you may have heard the jaw-dropping story. If you have not, then I will bring you to speed. King Charles and Prince William have been accused of corruption and hypocrisy by campaigners following reports that they profited to the tune of millions from schools, hospitals, army, the Royal Navy, prisons, councils, ambulances parking, Macmillan charity, churches, St. John ambulance, and other public services and charities. It is so hard to even begin to understand this. Help me make sense of these. All these is just my reaction to that program. The royal family charges the above listed for the land and rivers. What? We support all the institutions with donations and tax, and King Charles and Prince William are charging. Honestly, it does not make sense whatsoever. Just when you thought the royal family is a caring institution, then you hear this straight up. The story knocks you to your senses. This is a jaw-dropping and epic inequality of the highest proportion. How do you begin to defend King Charles and his son? This is epic siphoning of money, and it has been going on for years. Am I outraged? Yes. Am I surprised? Absolutely not. These chaps own the land that was stolen by their ancestors. Mark the word, stolen. They took it for free. The fact that these lands were stolen hundreds of years ago by wars is what makes the whole story so obscene. Probably it is time to rethink the ownership of these lands. So this is the king and son side hustle. A lot of people in England and Wales will find it hard to get to grips with this hard-hitting story. I do not think a lot of people realize how the establishment got established. It simply stole the land and property of the poor, then surrounded themselves with weak-minded psychopaths for protection, and gave themselves titles, and have been wielding power ever since. Certain circles of British people keep knocking the poor or the so-called scroungers, but never relate to real high-class crooks of the land. I am appalled by the lack of scrutiny. While 4.3 million children are in dire poverty in this country, and not to mention homelessness, King Charles and his son are taking a percentage of that money. This is National Stockholm Syndrome. We have been convinced by our kidnappers that we are in love with them, and we need them. The Brits are always complaining about the people on benefit and immigrants taking the taxpayers' money, whilst they ignore that it's the royals benefiting from their ignorance. Now let that sink in. No figure is enough when it comes to rich people. Think about it. Charles has already got £650 million inherited tax-free from his late mother's estate. Greed, arrogance, and entitlement. We are giving it to them in full measure. Yes, we are giving it to them in a gold platter. Have you also noticed that the mainstream media has gone rather quiet on this major issue? This is so incongruous. Let us see how the royals and their media spokespeople are going to wriggle out of this one. Last year Charles picked up £27.4 million from the Duchy of Lancaster. William picked up £23.6 million from the Duchy of Cornwall. Millions for rents and whatnot is mentioned in the documentary. Some of the houses being rented out are so depleted. It is hard to believe someone is living in the residence. There is mold, and the walls are not looking great. If Prince William was any other private landlord, those houses would have been closed. They are dire. I am not sure whether Prince William is aware of the Landlord and Tenant Act 1985. His tenants are scared to complain. While the King and Prince William are happily looking at their millions, the taxpayer is paying for the renovation of Buckingham Palace at the cost of £369 million. Let that sink in. After watching this clips, I find it hard to believe when royals talk about environment, when people on your land are being terrorized by drilling. Please go to Channel 4 Dispatches if you would like to watch this in full. I tried to load it here, but YouTube is giving some story. I do not want to be on the wrong side of YouTube. The British royal family finances are complex and often spark debate. And today, a new documentary has ignited significant controversy over the millions that King Charles and Prince William get from estates of land and property harking back to medieval times. Investigative current affairs program Channel 4 Dispatches has put the spotlight on the Duchy of Lancaster and Duchy of Cornwall. These estates were established in 1399 and 1337 respectively, exists to raise money for the sovereign and the heir by giving them all the net profits. These funds are considered to be private income and are in addition to the millions the royals get annually from the British taxpayers. The program claims that the NHS, British Armed Forces, and charities are charged millions for the use of the properties and land on the estates. The example of Dartmoor Prison, which is not even in use anymore, is still being charged for the relics still standing on their land. This is not fair. The reaction to the program has been widespread. Whatever your views on the royal family, we can surely all agree that they should not be profiting from the NHS. They should not be charging for Dartmoor Prison. The prison is unusable. King Charles is the patron of ambulance. They are always asking for donations in Sainsbury's. Maybe they should ask the king to donate. I have always liked the royal family, but it is clearly unacceptable to take money from the NHS, schools and charities. And not to mention homelessness. The colonized countries will understand this better. Just my reaction after I saw the video. I am not here to upset anyone. It is just my observation. Thank you.